RTS titles used to be ever present in previous generations across console and PC. From godlike pillars such as Populous to seminal titles in Megalomania or Tyrants Fight Through Time in America, Command & Conquer and even the all-conquering Warcraft have enjoyed releases across many platforms, but VR is not one and is inundated with real-time strategy titles with which to enjoy. But that is about to change. New indie developer Stellar VR is changing all that with its very first title, Korix, and it's not the only big impact it plans to make, but more on that later. The game stays true to the roots of old school games that achieve a simple to learn but a lifetime to master hook. Within the first hour you'll go from being little more than a floating head, wielding an obscure laser gun whilst your minions die below you, to a tactical scalpel, launching attacks, building an army and scavenging resources from the board like a greedy child at tea time. Now, the premise of the game also follows the same minimal aim. We have no long story driven narrative commencing with a dramatic CGI render. Instead, you choose a disembodied head, a map, and then learn the trade via a simple on-screen tutorial. This beds you into the game and then allows you to fall over yourself time and time again. Just as you think you have mastered the game, boom, you're hit with a spaceship attack on your base, or even worse. It has a full progressive single player mode as you play against ever increasing AI to dominate this Galaxy game board, and a fully integrated online multiplayer with multiple modes. It is the simple draw of the title that works so well. Now I know you may be asking, but VR, why? And it soon makes sense once you pop the hat on and dive into the game. The first thing to address is this game may not win any awards for its graphical beauty, but its simplistic low polygonal design, clean geometric edges and angular style lends it even more of a retro meets modern amalgamated vibe. With such sharp triangles it could suffer from shimmer and pixel pop, but this is subdued thanks to the technical proficiency on display in the display. Not content with simply rendering at a full 1920 by 1080p, that is for the other users. No, instead it pushes above that, running around 2304 by 1296, that's 2.9 million pixels, and downsampling or supersampling the final image. This is further refined with a 4x MSAA pass to sharpen those edges to within an inch of their lives. Now careful, because you could have an eye out. This is both beneficial to the game's already high levels of IQ and the best decision due to the game's art style. Using a combination of vertex and pixel shaders, it does not rely on high frequency texture maps, and instead strong bold colours adorn the objects, meaning the game's multi-sampled AA works its magic across all the edges, leaving little to no other need for any other solution that would take care of the texture work which is missed in MSAA. And the results obviously speak for themselves, even if they are hampered slightly by the 1280 by 720 output limit and reduced FOV. Its high image quality is evident even through all of this. Now the results come from a smaller view of the right eye in the headset and the low limit resolution due to this being fed from the USB feed back into the box out from the console. Now this is why the limit remains even on the Pro and makes pixel counting true resolutions beyond this level almost impossible at this point, even though many titles just like this one do indeed render at higher resolutions than this. Now the headset, it has no such limit, and instead the full 960 by 1080 is displayed per eye. Now just to be clear here, this is duplicated per eye like all VR systems, and each eye receives the benefits of the high pixel density and downsampled image quality, making this one of the sharpest and cleanest VR titles I have played, even under close scrutiny. Just for clarity, the screen itself is a standard 1920 by 1080 OLED display. Now like many panels, this means that the eyes are split up between the left and right, but you still get that pixel density. Now we have talked about what appears to be the standard PS4 here, and the Pro does not have a large set of benefits, but it does gain one in the form of HBAO, horizon based ambient occlusion, that adds extra depth and shadows on the screen. Now this stands out clearly due to the game's clean and sharp edges and straight geometry, just adding a touch more refinement to the presentation. Now frame rates are a vital part of gaming, and VR is at the peak of these needs, with PC headsets setting a limit at 90Hz as a minimum and a maximum. The PSVR does have the option to display at both 90Hz and 120Hz native refresh rates within the headset. Now some achieve this using reprojection from 60Hz or frames per second back to the 120 level. 90Hz titles cannot do this as they do not divide evenly, and as such you have to maintain this refresh rate of 12 milliseconds per frame or lower without the fallback of reprojection. Now this can come from Sony's own solution or your engine itself, something which Unity supports and is in use here as a safety net in case it dips below the game's native 120Hz refresh rate. This is 8 milliseconds each and every frame, a small window to hit indeed, one that it does pretty much 100% of the time in single player and dual player online multiplayers. It's only the 4-player and AI sections which get a bit bombastic that can cause the reprojection to kick in, and even then these are both short-lived and hard to notice. But some may ask, how can this be? Unity running a game with downsampling, 4 times MSAA, AI and up to 4 players online multiplayer all at a native 120Hz on the base PS4 with that CPU? Surely this is a lie. And this again brings me back to a point I've raised more times than I can remember. It is not ever about one thing, but the collection of the ingredients. A great engine will only get you so far, great hardware further still, talented programmers or teams further yet still. But laying the blame or pigeonholing a single aspect is naive at best, and as many other titles have shown, Unity has managed to get a bad reputation from some areas without any thought or knowledge into this. Now this game proves that with effort, care and the all-important optimization, it has no issues achieving very high and demanding performance levels. And all this was achieved by a mere 2 developers and the tools available to them, another vital ingredient in software development and performance tuning as a whole, via Unity itself and or Sony's own developer tools. Now AA visuals it may not have, but this is far from a bad looking game, using the tech, resource and design to complement each other. And this is still an indie game, or in every sense of the word, created by a single man who quit his day job to start his own company and used VR as a springboard to enter the precarious world of game development. Now I had a chance to sit down and talk with Mark, which you can check out the interview on my channel and the links below or on screen. He talks honestly about his experience making this title that is a PSVR timed exclusive with a later PC release coming on Vive and Oculus Rift. As somebody who suffers from VR wobbles himself, it may seem odd he chose a VR game to make, and as I also suffer this, after around an hour or so's play or less on certain titles. This game doesn't suffer from any of that. A comfort option has been added to navigate around the board as you play, swooping across for those negatively affected by this, or instead a simple warp to spot which makes it a very comfortable title to enjoy. Now I played non-stop for over an hour, as all 3 of us did, with some co-op and then versus online play with no side effects. Good job, as I had to drive home afterwards. But as you get into the game and play with 2, 3 or 4 players, the VR world allows you the kind of scope that just would not be possible or as immersive outside of VR. Floating in space like an extraterrestrial deity, mining resource, building empires, weapons of defense and attack, complete with upgrades and boosts, it allows you to play a large-scale desktop strategy game across the globe, but as if you are all in the same room, mocking each other, observing what they are building, or how they are defending their resources, even just zapping them in the face. It makes it far more personal, and as good as the AI is, nothing compares to human opponents. The first few hours I had getting to grips with the intuitive control system that supports both Move controllers and the DS4 with appropriate virtual avatars was enjoyable, comfortable, and above all else, addictive enough for me to generally be sad to stop playing. And this is something I hope to remedy soon when I get my review code in time for its launch on the PSN store. Now you can check out more info in my developer interview, another new feature I'm adding to my channel and website this year, and on the company's own website at stellarvr.com. As always, I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this. If you did, then please leave your thoughts and feedback below and give it a thumbs up if you did and a thumbs down if you didn't, but please tell me what you didn't like. I appreciate all the feedback you give, which always helps me shape the channel, the website and all the work that I put together to give you things that are enjoyable, entertaining and worthwhile. I shall be returning to Stellar VR and Korix soon when the final game ships and I cover in my full technical analysis and review, but you can be sure there'll be more information like this and others on my channel and website soon, so please be sure to subscribe and follow and share where appropriate. You guys and girls take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.